come on in and get ready with me to film some content. This is the title of our upcoming episode on my podcast. So I wanted to talk about it on here because we unfortunately have like a limited amount of time to record our podcast, and like just because of the time that it takes to edit. And so we will often like get just warmed up and like really get into a topic, and then our producer will be like, it's time to wrap it up, and I'm like, damn. So I just wanted to, you're not going to hear anything on here that I think will be in the podcast. I don't think. Thank you, Kasen. I got this in Palm Springs. There's this amazing little shop there called Recycled or like Recyclables or something, but spelled like PSYCH, like psych. Amazing. It's like just like this dude owns it, and he makes the best clothes and like screen printed stuff. Okay, we have some questions already. Hi, Maru. It's always so good to see you. Oh, good. Great topic. Was waiting for it. I'm glad to hear that. And Oh Lover Girl says, what's pink pill? Hey, Sprinkle. So what is pink pill? Pink pill is similar to red pill, but like it's not like in it's kind of the opposite of red pill, if that makes sense. So like, whereas the red pill is kind of, it's very male victimization. Like the red pill is interesting because they will literally be so spot on about everything that the patriarchy does to hurt men. Like they will hit the nail right on the head, right? But then their like response to that is to lean more into the patriarchy, right? You know, they'll be like, oh, all that these like Stacys want is like these ripped up chads and like hypergamy and all this stuff. And then their answer to that is, let's participate in that more. Let's like play into the system more. The pink pill is sort of the feminist version of that I really don't want to end up in that same direction, right? So the pink pill is a good thing. The pink pill is women realizing the reality of their existence under the patriarchy, right? It's kind of like you're being red pilled, but like you're being pink pilled because women's existence, like the red pill is not enough. The red pill has, for the most part, been for men. And so pink pill is basically women acknowledging that we are actually marginalized by society, and like that the patriarchy basically needs to go. I really hope that makes sense. Please let me know if I have done enough to clarify this for you. Got to get my sunscreen on. So some of the things that we talked about in the episode is basically how, yeah, see, that's the difference between pink pill and red pill. So I'm not sure what your username here is, like a little flower. Said there used to be a subreddit of it, and then it got removed apparently, which is so crazy because the red pill is still up and active. It's, nope, Girly Pop Tabletop, I just got here. You could probably tell because I haven't done any makeup yet. You guys can like match the progress of the live to the progress of my makeup. If you get here and I have a full face, like you probably missed it. Okay, so some of the things that we kind of covered in the show is basically, so I know a lot of people are going to come in here and say like, everything is the alt-right pipeline to you, da-da-da. Everything is the alt-right pipeline. Anything and everything can become, I think that's what I've learned personally. Anything and everything can become the alt-right pipeline when you root it in hatred, Okay, that's basically my thesis. Anything and everything can become the alt-right pipeline when you root it in hatred, you root it in fear, you root it in extremism, right? And so I think that it's really important for us in this women's movement to keep an eye out for that, to be discerning about that, because what can end up happening is we all jump on board of a creator that is spreading really hateful and short-sighted rhetoric, thinking that they are out here pink pilling people. And then you find out that they literally were the alt-right pipeline. And they're out here trying to convince people that Trump is doing nothing wrong and that he shouldn't be impeached for starting a war that nobody wanted to participate in, and for playing around with our tax dollars like that. And ever since then, I'm actually kind of glad that this happened in the feminist community, because yeah, a lot of people are gonna say oh yeah, but y'all followed her and all this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. We want to support women. We want to we definitely don't want to write anybody off just because they have a questionable appearance or questionable presentation or questionable anything, because I think women should be allowed to express themselves however they want, and I don't really have a problem with that. And I always try to check myself on is this misogyny? Is this internalized misogyny? And so, but the part, and this, I don't mean to brag or anything, but that neurodivergent pattern recognition, I swear to God, is on. Because right when I said, hey, this creator doesn't really care about intersectionality, and that's gonna be a problem if it isn't yet, soon as I said that, they literally showed their whole ass as a Trump supporter. So this is what I want to avoid. I want to avoid us falling for it, because like you said, who said this? Yeah, Girly Pop Tabletop. Every niche interest has a pipeline, and as an autistic nerd, I've stuck my foot in everyone. Same. And because especially us neurodivergent people, we really do tend to think in extremes sometimes, because it feels good. It feels good once you find a framework to hang everything on, because we're so used to missing social cues. We're so used to everything being harder and less clear that it needs to be. Oh, I'm very neurodivergent, Marymon. Yeah, for sure. It runs in my family, and I haven't been diagnosed autistic, but I bet you I could get that diagnosis. I'm diagnosed ADHD for sure. I've had an evaluation for that, and they didn't bring up anything else. So I'm just sticking with that for now, but definitely my grandpa, my great grandpa, all were hardcore autistic. So all that to say, sometimes for us neurodivergent people, we have this need for clarity, and we're drawn to these extreme things because it takes the guesswork out of it, right? Oh, if I can just say I hate all men and not any nuance, right? Or I don't know, all of this is bad and all of this is good. It just is very, very tempting sometimes for a lot of people, not just neurodivergent people, for a lot of people in general. It is just really difficult to stay measured, especially in this online space that we all occupy. It gets really, really tricky. And I'll tell you something else. This is why sometimes people want me. I've lived and I've learned, right? And I'm so glad I didn't start making content until I was in my 30s, because Lord knows I would have been the alt-right pipeline, you know what I mean? And I would have probably gone down it, because there's this thing that happens when you become a creator, especially in a space where things are already kind of tense, right? In this feminist space. They're tense, not because of women necessarily. It's just a tense space. I don't really know how to describe it. That's just something I learned. because you're saying things that most of society isn't ready to hear. So you're kind of getting attacked from all sides whenever you try to speak the truth. And so you get attacked by people who are like, you're saying too much. And then on the other side of that, there's always people that are going to say, you're not saying enough. You should say more. You are not going hard enough. This is like short, like you're coming up short, basically. And this is why I've always refused to fall down that rabbit hole. I will not sit here and say extreme shit. I will not make reactionary content. I will not make, content that is like very extremist in its nature. Like I don't make stuff that says like I hate all men, or like I don't make stuff that's like literally all men or whatever. Like, yes, I'm a married content creator in this space, so you can imagine, like, people shit on me a lot. People shit on me a lot because for that reason, and like, it's the same people that have called bell hooks a pick-me. Let's just say that. And so I think it's very important as a content creator in this space to stay grounded and measured, because you can always say extreme things, but they will not be true. They will not be true. They will never be true, no matter how much you want them to be true. The only things that like I believe in as far as like on the extremes of things is like scientific laws, which there are 3 of. You know what I mean? Scarrell says your content is extremist, but it's absolutely needed. I think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people think that my content is extremist, but y'all don't know how hard I actually try to stay grounded. Y'all don't know how hard I try not to say more, because it's very tempting to want to say more. It's very tempting to look around and like, especially in the space that I exist in, right, where I'm constantly getting tagged in videos about the horrific abuse of women. The like depravity, the true depravity of a lot of men, right? Thank you, Becca. That's beautiful. I love a sunset over the water. Like, I'm so Cancer coded, like, and it's like, yeah, but y'all don't understand. Like, a lot of people want me to be more extreme, right? They want me to be like, they're like, how do you decenter men and still stay married? How are you going to decenter men and still be in their physical presence? And it's like, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that people will, like, the crowd will start clamoring for. And I am just not willing to go that way, because it is short-sighted and it is the alt-right pipeline. Because let me just tell you, nobody hates men more than the alt-right. The alt-right actually really, really, really despises men. You might think that, like, men are sort of the top, like, and they are, but nobody hates men more than the alt-right and the alt-right men themselves, because everything is a competition, everything is a hierarchy, and the only acceptable kind of man to be is like, have y'all ever seen that, like, Chad meme where it's like, my husband had a whole rant about this yesterday. It's very, they picture themselves as this very, like, buff, like, bearded, blonde, blue-eyed, like, full head of hair kind of man that honestly looks like Yahtzee's wet dream. But that is the only kind of man that they feel like they're allowed to be. And that is the only thing that a lot of the men on the alt-right are like working towards. They want to be that jacked, like, Chad, Christian nationalist, like, whatever. And it has to get more extreme at, like, as time goes on. Like, it has to get more yeah, like Johnny Bravo, exactly. But it's like, it's a meme. It's like one of those. It's not a Wojak, it's like a something else. It's like that white nationalist looking guy. I don't know how to explain it. And he's usually next to, like, the little trad wife in the flowery dress girl. Yeah. Okay, let me catch up on some of the comments. Yeah, exactly, Christina. It only seems extremist because we've been raised in patriarchy. Patriarchy is what's extreme. And that's my message, too. Yeah, there's... Yep. Okay, let's see. There's always discourse, which is very good, but it gets to a point where it's not productive. Exactly, Jay. So that's what I'm kind of getting at. So the alt-right pipeline is rooted in hatred, cynicism, and ultimately like inaction. What am I trying to say? Like passivity, like cynicism. And so there is no like better, there is no way out, right? So when you find yourself in a content space that feels like a dead end, that feels like there is no hope, and your only choice is to become like quote unquote black pilled and like just kind of like give up and like vote for whoever because all the parties are wrong and bad and like whatever. That is how we got our rights taken away as women. That is how. Because a lot of women fell down the alt-right pipeline because the feminist content that they were consuming led them there. And I'm not joking, led them there. The like anti-birth control content, the the celibacy content, the like crunchy mama content, all of these things, they start out on the left as a way to improve your life, as a way to like sort of deal with the facts of whatever's going on. And you're dealing with it with an open mind. That is the key. You have to have an open mind. And the problem with TikTok and all of these like social media apps is that obviously it feeds you more of what you already consume. And it is very, very easy to fall headfirst down these pipelines and then become consumed with content that is actually very cynical, very depressing, and very extremist in a way that actually makes you focus only on yourself. Like it makes you focus on selfish things and it takes you out of the game. Does that make sense? You're no longer like part of society. Like you don't view yourself as part of society falsely. Like that's dumb. You shouldn't do that. You are part of society. Society exists all around you, and like it is best for you to like hang on and stay in it. And I know that that's hard. That's the problem, is people don't like hard things, right? When you're addicted to scrolling, like, and please don't get me wrong. Like y'all know I consume a lot of content, okay? I just have a different mindset about it that I want to point out how easy it is to kind of just get going and like not be able to stop. But when you're scrolling through like 20 to 30 seconds of content at a time, you're not finishing the videos. I see the rate of that at which people finish my videos. It is abysmal, right? They'd be like, most people stopped watching your video at like less than a second, which is fine. Like I get some people are just scrolling past, that's okay. But when you get used to this mindset of, I don't want to work hard mentally, right? I want everything to be laid out for me in 5 seconds or less. The only option that you're giving people to feed you is extremist content, because that is the only thing that can be laid out in 5 minutes or 5 seconds or less. Does that make sense? Let me see how y'all are doing in the comments. Yep, hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. Kamala Harris. That's what I'm saying. Like that saying that's like, I went to sleep and I dreamt that life was joy. And when I woke up, I realized that life was service. And as I did that, as I like invested in service, I realized that service is joy. And so that's how we need to think of it. Like, you need to think of it as, we are not here to become cynical, jaded, and like run with conspiracy theories that like aliens created the patriarchy. We're not here to do that. That is not helpful. Even if it were true, it would not be helpful because, okay, say aliens created the patriarchy. Why are men and women upholding it? If it was really that alien to us, we would not uphold it. Does that make sense? Everything else we do is very like, very human, very natural, right? But all of a sudden, here we are going to go believing that the patriarchy was brought here by aliens, created by aliens. Like, what's next? Lizard people? You know what I mean? And I'm all for, I love a good conspiracy theory. I've gone down the rabbit holes. And you know why I stopped? Because those rabbit holes end at QAnon. Those rabbit holes end when you get to the QAnons. That's where those rabbit holes will go all the way, and you end up right there. Pink pill. So the pink pill is basically feminism's answer to the red pill. It's basically trying to wake women up to what is happening around them and like how they're being used by the patriarchy. And the problem with that type of content is it devolves into very negative, very extremist, very cynical type content. And the reason that, you know, certain content creators have these accusations of like being a CIA plant and stuff like that is precisely because of that. Because the best way to like disable a movement is to make people cynical, jaded, and feel like they can't or won't make a difference. And feel like everything is lost, so don't even try. You know, it's already over and the other side has won, so you might as well vote for them. You might as well just get on that side. You might as well just be on the winning side because everybody's lying to you. So why not just, you know, why not? You know what I mean? And the reason that, like, I fear this person is getting those accusations and is not beating those allegations is because, like, how is that the right choice? Like, how is it like, how does that align with feminism? How does it align with feminism to center men in leadership? How does it align with feminism, right? Like, the same person is shitting on me as a married creator, being the blush stick. It's like a Lady Gaga, House Labs, Glassy Hibiscus. Yeah, so meanwhile, this creator is making like content about me saying that I don't decenter men because I live with a man, but they voted for a man to lead us all off a cliff. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't understand your own message. You don't understand that it's not per se men themselves that are the problem. It's not a biological thing, right? Willow, thank you for that suggestion. Let me screenshot that because I have not heard anything about Kamek. I don't know. Yeah, or not vote at all. That's my other thing. That's why I don't align myself with certain creators. Like, I'll give them credit. Absolutely. Like, I love Princella. I think she is in many ways like the mother of this movement. And like, I think that in many ways she has done so much for the feminist community, but at the same time, like, for her to shit on somebody for voting for a man, but then be like, see, I didn't vote, like, that was a flex, is just crazy. Absolutely wild. And it's like, I don't really care if you don't align yourself with a political party. I don't really care. I care about the practical outcomes. And so, okay, hear me on this. Hear me on this. The problem with these movements, the things that will lead you down the alt-right pipeline, is being forced into ideological cynicism. Does that make sense? So when people say like, oh, the two-party system is like flawed and broken, whatever. Listen, I wish I could give a fuck, but I can't. I cannot afford to give a fuck that the two-party system is broken because my choices within that two-party system is a rapist or a woman. I'm definitely, the choice is very, very clear. A senile, demented, rapist, racist, probably this man has done things that we don't even know about, that we can't even imagine, right? That, I could vote for that. I could vote for a woman who is not going to like mess with my reproductive rights, who may have even codified them into law. And instead now we are way worse off, right? Or I could not vote at all. What the fuck do you think I'm gonna do as a feminist? If I have the nerve to come online, call myself a feminist, talk to women about the patriarchy, all that, who the fuck should I vote for? Or should I not vote at all? This is crazy. This is crazy think. This is crazy talk. And this is something that Gen Z is very, very eagerly falling for. The media illiteracy, the conservatism, all of this is the alt-right pipeline. Every single time, I promise you, like, and I knew it. Honestly, the bells started ringing and going off when the girls were really upset about Poor Things. And that was a good movie, and I will unalive on that hill. That was a good movie. That movie revealed a lot of things about the patriarchy. That movie revealed exactly how men think, and women were shitting on it because, oh, Emma Stone had a sex scene. We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. And so it's one of those things where, like, when people try to push you into these ideological corners, you have to resist. You have to, especially like me. I remind myself that every day because I have been tempted to make really extremist content, talking about, and don't get me wrong, like when Cecilia Regina says the word humiliation ritual and she talks about it in depth, right? And she has 10+ minute videos that explain like the concept, that explain like all this, right? That's different than somebody coming on this app and just saying it's a humiliation ritual with no context, with absolutely no, like saying any marriage to any man and having children with any man at all, anytime you have children, that's a humiliation ritual. That is without context. That is terrible. That is an ideological dead end. That is an ideological black hole. Because, okay, and then what? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to know what people think is like a reasonable, logical, practical, pragmatic next step. That's what I want to know. I don't really care. Like, we can all get here on the internet. We could all get on the internet and start screaming about how terrible men are and like all that. And plenty of us do that. I do that. Like, literally, that's what people describe my content as. And that is necessary. But if there's not a pragmatic way out of it, then we have just created the patriarchy's wet dream. Sorry. But it's basically, we are creating a toothless movement with no wheels. We're spinning our wheels in the mud. We're doing absolutely nothing to change anything because we have written it off. We have written it off. And now we're black pilled. And the black pill, that's a alt-right pipeline. And this is what, like, I feel like it's very important to educate people on that, like, the cynicism of it and the like dead end sort of way that some creators are going about this. And maybe they realize it, maybe they don't, but they are definitely hurting the movement as a whole. Okay, so Vincent Van Gogh, I love that username. I think I know I've already told you that, but it's great. Says, what are y'all takes on people saying it's sexually exploitative because her maturity is like a toddler? That's the fucking point. Like, that is the point. That is the point of the movie. That's what I mean about like media illiteracy, is that people are missing the fact that art is supposed to reflect real life. It is not supposed to reflect ideological, we're supposed to make our own conclusions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when we see art that's provocative, that is like very strong in its like presentation, what am I trying to say? Like, it has a very strong message. We're supposed to make our own conclusions. The artist's job, the director's job, is to paint a picture for us. And it is literally the whole point that her mentality is like a toddler. That is a commentary on how old men go for young women that are still babies in their brain. They're still children. Does that make sense? They just figured out, yeah, like it's the sexy baby trope. Literally, sexy baby. Like, y'all will listen to Taylor Swift sing that and it's fine, right? But you don't get it. When you don't get it, when somebody tries to show it to you, Poor Things. The movie's Poor Things. Yeah, Born Smexy yesterday, exactly. So definitely make sure you check out that movie, because it's an awesome feminist commentary. Yes, by a man, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, when you take these things and you say, oh, because a man directed it, it must be bad, or whatever, like, that's what I'm saying. You're just missing out on a lot of good stuff. Like, some men get it. And we need to lean on that, because the people that are really going to dismantle the patriarchy have to be men. Like, at the end of the day. And that's what people are not like, understanding. It's like, women, we can do all we want, right? We can even like try to take ourselves out of the patriarchy. But as long as men have the power, as long as men don't understand that they're not receiving benefits from the patriarchy at the end of the day, that like the benefits they receive are minuscule compared to the fact that they had to sell their soul to participate in this, just to be sucking a bunch of men's dicks. Like, seriously, when men understand that, then we will understand, then the problem. So Spinozian Marxist says, when has an oppressive system ever been dismantled by the oppressor? And that is a great question. But I think that is what we have to find the answer to. Because the thing that I think a lot of people have been missing is that oppression doesn't just... oppression is a thing that you do when you really hate yourself and when you are lacking in yourself. And it is exploitative and it is all of those things, but you're not going to get there unless you have also been robbed of your soul. Yeah, exactly. Maggie Meg says, just like white women need to be the ones to end white feminism. Exactly. Like, nobody else can end white feminism if the white women won't stop being selfish. If the white women never learn about intersectionality, then we're just going to keep having the same thing. And because of their proximity to power, white women, and people need to understand, we're all oppressors in some way. That's how the system works. Right? Like, when we order certain things, like the iPhone that I'm broadcasting this to you on, the factories have nets outside the window because people will chuck themselves out the window because they'd rather not. They'd rather not be doing this. So when y'all get on your high horse about, you know, oh, it's, and point fingers at, oh, that's the oppressor, that's the oppressor. Yes, but understand there's people below you pointing fingers at you. And that goes, it's turtles all the way down, right? And then, yes, there are people on the very margins of society that like are suffering the most. And that's the only oppressed class. Like, that's it. And I know this is like, I know a lot of people don't like this. I know I'm the queen of yaps, self-growth journey. What's up? Good to see you, friend. Yeah, so it is, yeah, people said the same thing about adolescence, and it's like, yes, I understand that was not a perfect piece of media, adolescence. I have my criticisms of it. My mutuals have had criticisms of it. I respectfully like hear them. I respectfully have my own criticisms, but that was a very clearly painted picture. And we don't get that very often. That was a rare moment of self-awareness. And it is, I'm not saying we should like celebrate that. I'm not saying that men need to get brownie points for like self-awareness, but we need to let it exist. You know, when we just take everything wholesale and like shit on it, then everything's covered in shit. Like, that's what I'm trying to explain. It's like, I know a lot of neurodivergent girlies follow me here. A lot of even like neurodivergent men follow me because neurodivergent men are some of the only ones that can see this. This can be explained easily to. And then there's neurodivergent men way on the other side that are very red-pilled, very black-pilled. And so I want us to keep our wits about us. I want us to keep our wits about us because this is exactly how the movement gets divided. And the fact that we all, myself included, jumped onto the flawed villain train and were like, yes, go girl, like, you know, tell it like it is, when really she was spreading like very cynical, very extremist rhetoric at the end of the day. And I don't really have like a lot of problems with her like man content, but some of it I do, because clearly, like, she doesn't fully understand decentering men. And that's a bummer. That's really sad. Because women who don't think that you can decenter men unless you physically create distance between yourself and men, that is a key to that cynicism. That's a key to that like black-pilled like rhetoric where it's not going to be easy for you to find your way out of this, because you have been forced and you have been sort of backed into this ideological corner of the most extreme possible way of looking at things. And once again, once you get there, right, and you forget what grass feels like, you forget what the sun feels like on your skin. And I also want to point out to anybody that still follows her, which to each their own, I'm not going to like tell y'all who to follow, but like, it is at this point giving manic episode. It is at this point giving mental illness. That's why I have not made any more videos about her. And like I talk about her on live here and there because people keep asking me. But I'm not going to put this stuff up because this woman is having a crash out. Like a very public. It's very sad to watch. And she just posted a video recently where somebody was asking her about like health tips and stuff like that. And she said, well, honestly, I haven't eaten or slept very much in the past few months. I haven't gone to the gym. I barely have left my house because I've been doing this TikTok grind. And I think that's important. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, you haven't posted in a while, whatever. And I'm like, trust me, it's for the best. You know, when I take a break from posting, it is for the best. It's for the best for all of us, right? It is unreasonable to expect creators, like, to have something to say every day. Like, you do not have something to say every day. You can shut the fuck up a couple of days out of the week. So and I understand, like, people want a lot of content, but that's just it's not realistic. Follow a lot of people. You know, you want a lot of content, branch out. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, open your mind. Open your mind, because it is fun, right, to like find a new creator and like really, you know, get into their videos and like you really agree with them. But always branch out. Always keep an open mind. Keep an open algorithm. You know what I mean? And because it is important. It's important even to know what the other side thinks like, you know. I go into conservative subreddits all the time. Like, to the point where I might as well just like join, because I go and check it every few days because I want to know what the fuck's going on in there, you know? And it's like people forget that we're not like, we're very siloed right now. Very siloed. But yeah, that's how you get this rhetoric of like, yeah, feminism is just supposed to bring women on the left and right together. That is the alt-right pipeline. What do women on the right stand for? Somebody explain this to me. Somebody explain to me, what do I have in common with women on the right? Because I would never vote against their right to their body, but they did. They voted against mine. So I have nothing in common. I owe absolutely nothing to right-wing women. Absolutely nothing. That's my like kind of unnuanced take, but it is still nuanced, because it's like, I'm not doing anything to hurt them. That's what they're doing to us, to other women. And so all of this, like, it's very easy for it to become a psyop. It's very easy for us to like actually lose sight of what is important. Yeah, bragging about being a psychopath, whatever. Yeah. Vincent Van Gogh says, YB, who are your faves? I know Dr. Cecilia. Yeah, Cecilia Regina 275, The Sovereign Woman, Bourbon Bougie. Ooh, I'm like forgetting everybody's username right now. Why? Therese. I listen to MJ Gray. Some people have like ideological differences with her, but I don't. I think we all can like unite in this circle. I don't think there's any point in like dividing us like in that way, because she is for women's rights ultimately. Can y'all drop more people in here? I don't know why I'm like blanking. The Public Offender, Cindy Noir, Carol says, Lisa, were you ever pro-life when you were religious? No. I actually never was. And I'm going to say something else. I do think it's killing a baby. I do. I do think that abortion is killing a baby, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Sometimes you got to kill a baby. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Look at animals. Sometimes they'll like look at one of their offspring, like kittens or whatever, and just be like, eat it. I literally couldn't care less about it's a baby, it's a baby. I'm not out here calling it a fetus. I don't care. It's not a fetus. Fine, call it a baby. I don't care. I still have the right to kill it. That baby is literally none of my business until it comes out of that woman. And it's even then, it's still none of my business. It's actually just like my problem. Do you know what I mean? As a whole extra member of society. Okay? Go for it, McKenna. Who are the Bougie woman at Burb and Bougie. And then there's Therese. She just goes by Therese. A fetus isn't a baby. I'm just saying. It's like when you try to flex on me by saying a fetus is a baby, I'm going to say kill the baby. I don't care. Like, I'm going to say, like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, I guess we got to unalive a baby. Do not care. Do I want kids? No. Y'all are missing the point. I'm just saying, when Christian people try to say, no, I don't believe it's a fetus, I believe it's a baby, even though I believe it's a fetus, I think it doesn't matter. I think, like, even if you think it's a baby, fine, I don't care. Kill the baby. Y'all are trying to miss the point. It's fine. Yeah. And you know why? Because fire emoji username, thank you. Afghanistan just announced 1 eye for women is enough. Others should be hidden. That's what I mean. We don't even treat women like people. If a woman is not a person, then neither is a baby. Neither is a fetus. Neither is a pregnancy. I don't fucking care. Women will be fully grown and they're still not being treated like people. They're being treated like an object that needs to be covered up and only one of your eyes can show. Like, this is motherfucking crazy. It is Tower 28. It's kind of like a multi-stick. I think you can do like freckles with it if you want. I don't really usually do that, but. Oh, McKenna, I'm so sorry. No, there's just a lot of comments. I usually have like about 100 people in my live, and so. Give me a sec, I'm gonna find it. Or maybe it is getting filtered, actually. I see your responses to other people. No, your question got filtered, babe. Try it again. Ah! That is so cute, Slam Diego. Oh, Sovereign would love that. Fire Emoji says, I keep hearing about Seattle being a bad place for dating from multiple creators, including you. I would agree, absolutely. I've heard only horror stories, and I think it's because a lot of men here are undiagnosed, like neurodivergent, autistic. And they don't know it, and they're making it everybody else's problem. Trophy Goddess says, wait, you were religious? Yes, that's why I can spot the alt-right pipeline so well. And mind y'all, here's the funny part. This is how I ended up in the alt-right pipeline, is pink pill content. So speaking of Seattle and horrible men that live in Seattle, not anymore, he doesn't. But I don't know if y'all ever heard of a man named Mark Driscoll. Saying that name, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just said that name for the first time in like 10 years. Yeah, so that used to be my pastor. And I went to the church like really early on. Not really early on, but like right when it kind of started getting big in my area. And the reason I stayed was because when I showed up, this man was up there shitting on men. He was like, you useless, dumb fucks. Why would anybody want to marry you? Like, you bring nothing to the table. You are impotent. You are unemployed. You play video games all day. Like, you are unworthy. And I was like, tell me more. I was like, this is great. What do you mean? And so, yeah, that's literally what brought me to that church. That's what put me on that path to the alt-right pipeline, because I was like, I have never heard a man like acknowledge these things, you know? And I thought that this was going to be like a quiet, one of those like unspoken secrets forever that I would just have to deal with. But here's this man, and I was like, I bet you this is the church where I'm going to find my husband. And you know what? No, it wasn't. And it was the most diabolical place ever. So, yeah. Did he end up being problematic? Very much so. Very much so. He had to be like disciplined by the church because he was like, I don't know, they had problems with like his character and stuff like that. And he left instead of being like doing the discipline and like coming back or whatever. He just said, oh, God told me that these men were actually out to get me and like to destroy everything. And he was like, yeah, so I'm leaving. He would not be called. Yeah, he was removed and his church was disbanded. But he wasn't removed. They were actually just going to like discipline him and like reinstate him. He actually left. That's the like, yeah, I'm an atheist. Yeah, absolutely. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in like a God. I definitely believe like something, but I don't believe that it's like, here's the thing. I believe that I've been on 2 psychedelic trips. And it's very hard to explain what I believe now. But I believe that like there is and there isn't meaning. It's both. Like there is and there isn't. It's like everything you do is the most important thing you'll ever do, but also none of it fucking matters, and like do whatever you want. That's my life philosophy. And kind of always has been. Girly pop tabletop, that's so beautiful. Prepping for a new moon ritual while listening to. I love rituals, actually. I think that like witchy things are really, really good. And I think that having rituals for yourself, the reason that people are drawn to religion is like there is something to it. There is something that helps us find meaning in life when we do intentional things. And I think that if you just live your life intentionally, you don't need religion. Do I think we're all connected? Absolutely, which is why McKenna, I'm so sorry. I'm literally like looking for it and it's just not popping. This is not popping up. Try doing like numbers instead of letters maybe, or maybe like DM me. And I'm terrible about going through my DMs, but I will try to remember. My shirt is from a place in Palm Springs called Recyclables, or like recycled, but it's spelled REPSYCHLED or whatever. Okay, we had some good questions. Hold up. I believe souls connect, but not in a God. Yeah, I mean, you can believe whatever you want. That's what I believe. Like, as long as it's, you don't try to force it on me, do you. I was told by a girl that if a man goes to church, he's a better man. For real? I don't think so. Yeah, never. That's never the case. Malcolm Wonder says, what exactly is wrong with alt-right outside of opposing views? I am going to hope that you're not a fucking troll, and I'm going to answer this question in good faith, Malcolm. But the problem with the alt-right is that it is rooted in hatred, fear, cynicism, and ultimately inaction. So the alt-right, they are good at pointing out the problems, but they will pin the reason for those problems on completely unrelated things, right? So everybody's poor and unemployed. Oh, it's because of the immigrants. How? When was the last time that an immigrant actually took your job? And not that this is a good thing, but they do the jobs that other people don't want to do because they can be exploited. So you're not mad at the immigrants. You're mad at the system that is exploiting you both. Both. Because they're not being paid a living wage and neither are you. And they're just getting even less of a living wage than you. Right? But no, it's the immigrants and we need to deport them. And the solutions are often very much removed from the actual problem, which is that people are broke and unemployed. And so the solution for that would be to stimulate the economy or to give people money or to strengthen the social safety net. But instead, right, they are like, no, what we need to do is we need to militarize this deportation effort, which people are missing this, but that costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. And so when you do that, you are just putting money in the pockets of like the few rich people that run these like prisons and run these like, this is all contracted out. That's what people forget too, is that the government is not like checking, like they have nothing to do with anything. They just contract it out. So it's not even as though this is going in the pockets of like government employees, whatever. There are people being exploited, right? Through these contracts. So they're not receiving health care. They're not receiving like even the ICE agents, like they're making 30 to 50K a year to do that. And so that's the problem with the alt-right. And the alt-right would say the problem is still just immigrants. The problem is, and it's rooted in hate, because the reason that people can be so easily mobilized against immigrants is because they're actually being mobilized against people of color. I hope that makes sense. The alt-right also hinges on the paradox of tolerance. I want to hear more about that, Netta. I really do. I think I'm tracking, but like, oh my gosh, I really want to hear more about that. Because I feel like maybe what you're getting at is that like the alt-right will be like, we hate you and we hate you and we hate you and you shouldn't exist and I don't want you to have rights and da-da-da-da. But then when people are like, oh, okay, you're a fucking asshole, never talk to me again. They're like, oh, what happened to the tolerant left? Like, that's why I don't want to be known as like the tolerant left, you know? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. That's what I thought we were saying. I just want to make sure. Oh, 4B Forever says Stephen Miller has tons of stocks in Geo Group. Yeah, exactly. The prison industrial comp. Exactly. Yep, Andrea says, okay, let's talk about this because I feel like the pressure to be thin again for women is absolutely a part of this. Yeah. So the pink pill to alt-right pipeline. So here's some other things that are pink pill related that will lead you down to the alt-right pipeline. The boss girl idea. The center yourself idea. Okay? If you are claiming to be a feminist, I do not want you to think that you are a main character in this movement. You are the main character in your life, okay? Between you and a man, it should be you that's the main character. And any man who doesn't get that is not worth being with, is not a feminist, etc. But you are not the main character in this movement. You're not. Because if you're going to say that I'm a feminist, but I'm also a main character, guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to listen to valid critiques of your content. You're not going to be able to reflect all of those things because the main character is the main character. They don't have to do that. The main character is already perfect and everything's going to work out for them. And that's not real life, right? So the real danger with the alt-right pipeline is it also leads you into a fantasy land where you're like, no, but if we just do this, and it's like, no, that's literally not how it works. Oh, well, if we all just don't vote. Oh, if we all just vote for the, like a third party, which is valid. Like, I wish there was enough of us to vote third party and then do all that. But you realize the third party would also have to deal with a two-party Senate, all that. Senate, House, all that. So we have to be practical. We have to be pragmatic. Kimberly, exactly. If we just close our legs because having babies with men is a humiliation ritual, etc. When you start to sound like a youth group leader, reevaluate what you're saying. Okay? Reevaluate it. Electric Noodles asks, who coined this terminology? What terminology? The pink pill? Alt-right pipeline? I don't know. But there was a user that like sort of asked the question, like they wanted to talk about the alt-right pipeline, and we actually shout them out in our podcast and we give them credit for this, the title, because it was a clever like presentation of it. It's, they are at Hey with 3 Y's. So it's HEYYY _JoJo, JOJO. That's where I kind of got this title. Yeah, the terminology of humiliation ritual, exactly. And again, I would say that like when Cecilia Regina uses the term humiliation ritual, I love Crutches and Spice. Thank you so much for bringing up Crutches and Spice. Crutches and Spice is the person y'all need to listen to. This is Imani. Keeps me motherfucking grounded, like grounded. Every time I want to go off on these pipelines, she's like, stop it. Stop that. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Everybody needs to follow Imani. Also follow Sedona Violet. Sedona Violet. That's another content creator that really brings me down to earth. Sedona Violet. What pipelines are there? I thought only red pill. Yeah, so it's the ultimate pipeline is the alt-right pipeline. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. The reason it's called a pipeline is because there is an end to it. Okay? So pipeline. Oh, I hope she was saying nice things, Lainey. I do not like it when my favorites like fight. Oh, thank you, Amanda. That's so sweet. Thank you. Okay, good. She was saying good things. Yeah. So, so the reason they call it a pipeline is because a pipeline leads somewhere. It leads to an end. Okay? It's a means to an end. So when you get into the pipeline, you arrive at a dead end. And what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to stay outside. You need to stay on the top. Okay? You need to stay on the ground. Alt-right pipeline it goes underground. Okay? When you are deep in conspiracy theories, deep in like all this kind of stuff, that's what's gonna happen. Jamie, NTT, thank you, babe. Let's talk about all of these alt-right pipelines that Jamie has just very kindly like put in the chat for us, and because it would have taken me forever to think of all of them. Okay, the divine feminine, period. And I've been saying this for so long. Some of my very, very earliest videos. And this wasn't like a big thing when I first started posting, and it's a much bigger thing now. Somehow I thought we were like on our way out of it, but we're on our way very much into it. So the divine feminism pipeline. And that's why like that book, Oh my God, I forgot to shout out my actual, like, one of my favorite creators, Jace Mercutio. Jace, he is at Diversity Dream. So Jace actually, like, pointed out a lot of this stuff to me. Jace and I have met up in person, like, a number of times. We're, like, really good friends at this point. He's a trans man. He's disabled. He's Black. And so he's very much on the margins. And he explains this stuff to me because I'm so prone to falling down the white woman pipelines. I'm telling you, it's all of us. Especially if you're a white woman, it's so easy to forget. It's easy to forget. Oh, now that women can work. That's a thing I say a lot, and I have to start catching myself, okay? I have to start catching myself because I say, oh, now that women can work. And Black women always point out on those types of videos, Black women have always worked. It's just like it's ignorance, right? So divine feminine, sorry y'all, I'm trying to, let me not lose these. So the divine feminine, and that's why, like, I don't really recommend that book, When God Was a Woman. It gets into that a little bit, okay? TERFs are the alt-right pipeline, and I'm sorry if any of y'all are in the chat. I love you still, but you are the alt-right pipeline. And anything that is rooted in misogyny is going to hurt you too. Like, anything that you allow to still exist that is rooted in misogyny and is being hurt by misogyny is going to hurt you too. Law of attraction, absolutely. The whole manifest, like you manifest your reality. When people were saying that about Wizard Liz, I called people out. I said, just go back to church. Just go back to church since you really want to believe that people's, like, thoughts and prayers fucking create their reality, okay? Your thoughts do not create your reality. Your actions do. Absolutely. Yes, your thoughts can have something to do with your actions, but that is like a really bad pipeline to fall down because it ends with maladaptive daydreaming, which is, once again, it's cynical and ineffective. Because you're actually being cynical towards yourself. You're like, I don't think I can actually do this. But maybe if I think hard enough, if I pray hard enough. Alt-right pipeline. Fat phobia. Absolutely. Absolutely fat phobia. And that is one of those things that has to do with, like, women's bodies are none of your business at the end of the day. And diet/wellness culture, there's a reason why the WASP moms are always obsessed with, like, dieting and diet culture and, like, being as skinny as possible. So anything that sort of removes reality or action from it, right? Yeah, Jace Mercutio, he is at Diversity Dream. Thank you, love. Yep, soft girl stuff, the whole I'm just a girl thing. I'm just a girl. I don't want to go to the office and work under a fluorescent light. Like, I just want to go to the farmer's market and, like, read books. Stop it. Stop it. Men would have never gate-kept work from us if it was a bad thing. Men don't want to work either, but they'll do it so that they have financial power and dominance over you. And the worst thing you can do is not have your own money. Ableism, that's the alt-right pipeline, all of those things. And again, I know the TERFs are going to get mad in the comments, but I'm just saying. But I don't want to labor. Amber, none of us do. Amber, literally none of us want to labor. Y'all might think I'm doing this TikTok thing for fun. Like, I'm laboring. It's hard. It's hard. It'd be fun if I got to do it whenever I want and, like, on my own schedule. But I have to labor. And I have to actually, like, people don't understand the psychological impacts of this. People don't understand the, like, the mob mentality that sometimes takes over in my comments, in my lives. It's scary. Like, it's scary reading so many comments, like, knowing there's so many people here, like, knowing, you know what I mean? And then people demand more content, or, like, your content is then, like, not good enough. It's also different from like a regular day job in the sense that at your day job, there is no crazy making, like gaslighting type shit. But on TikTok, it's like you can make a really good video and it gets like, 300 views or something like that, and like gets buried by the algorithm, and you spent hours working on it, whatever, or they like disqualify it because of something. And then you'll make like some 30-second piece of crap content and it'll go viral. Like at work, that does not happen. You know what I mean? Like you get paid for what you do, and it's not like random. Like there's no way to quantify like how much I'm going to get paid every month or like how much, whatever. And so I would prefer to have a day job, honestly, and do this as like whenever I want. But unfortunately, my field is dried up as fuck. So that's why I'm here. But just so y'all know, everybody has to labor. And labor is what it is. We can't have a society where people are not laboring. There's jobs that people don't want to do. And that's okay. And we have to do them. Oh, Sydney, is that you? Y'all are so sweet. That is, I'm very complimented by that. So Amber says, I was a total girl boss, then I got burnt out and possibly disabled. Now I don't want to work. Look, I get it. I'm literally going through burnout right now. Like right now, and have been for the past like year. It sucks. But it is what it is. Like even if you could, I've had to explain this to my husband a lot because he has like these he kind of used to have these dreams of like living off the grid and stuff, and like not like working for the man per se. And I'm like, listen, my love, I get it, but I'm from Ukraine. And even though I lived in the city in Ukraine, we would go, like I have spent plenty of time on the outskirts of the city and like staying my summers and like living with people that were living off the grid, and they work motherfucking harder than anybody else. You know what I mean? You got to get up at the ass crack of dawn. You got to do a bunch of manual labor, all that kind of stuff. It's easy. Yeah, actually, exactly, Bianca. The easiest labor is having a regular job. Is it the best for your brain? Like, no, but it is not as hard. Is Cindy Noir podcast available yet? Yes, that is our most recent episode that's come out. So please go check it out. She was amazing. We talked so much about like, we covered so many good topics. Like she asked some really good questions. Which, that's what we should have been doing because we're the hosts. Y'all, I'm trying to catch up. If I don't see your comment, please do feel free to put it back in the chat. Just don't spam it like too much, okay? Like if it's been like 50 comments and I haven't seen it, then please like... Yeah, never be financially dependent on a man, because that's your only other option, right? So here's what this is the other thing that I'm getting at, okay? What is practical? What is practical? Because this is what the pipeline is going to miss. It's always going to fly right past of what is practical. And the problem with that is you're going to end up in thought spaces like this. Oh, I don't want to labor. Okay, well, what's your other option? Like, Leah says, but I don't want to go 50-50. And babe, I would never, ever, ever advise you to. In fact, yeah, I don't do 50-50. No, like my husband's money pays for our life and then my money pays for whatever I want. That's what it looks like to be married to a non-patriarchal man, to a man who understands how much having a woman in his life benefits him to the point where he's like, take all my money. Like, I don't care. I would be worse off with all my money and no woman. That's what a lot of men don't understand, and a lot of women don't understand, because men carry themselves like they're the prize, and they're not. They're not. They could have all the money in the world and they will still be miserable without a woman. The only difference is if a woman had all the money in the world, she probably wouldn't even want a man. And that's how I know I love my husband. Like, if I had all the money in the world, I'd still keep him around. I would. I like him. I like that man. He's nice to me. He's smart. He's a yapper. When y'all are not listening to me yap, do you know who is? Him. Like, literally this morning, he went with me to my hot yoga sculpt class. And then he had like a quick doctor's appointment, and we were just yapping the whole way there, the whole way back. We like deconstructed a couple social constructs just on our way. Like, he never sweats me about anything, like money, anything like that. Yeah, you got to pick your hard. Absolutely. You got to pick your hard. Okay. A lot of comments, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going back. So a lot of people have questions about like the alt-right pipeline. The alt-right pipeline, and people are saying, yeah, everything's the alt-right pipeline. It is. It is. It can be. Okay. That's why I'm saying, like, we've come to the point where even feminism can become the alt-right pipeline, because people online are so prone to extremist thinking. And this is what being on TikTok for a long time, TikTok, right? Like, it's all in the name. You're gonna get to a point where you just want the most extreme take. It's kind of like men who watch porn, right? The only thing that's gonna get your dopamine going is hearing like the most vile, crazy, extremist rhetoric. Please watch out for that, because that is not what we want. We want to stay practical. Speaking of crutches and spice, Imani Barbarian, let me see if I can quickly change my background and show y'all something really, really, really quick. Okay. Effects. There it is. All right. So this is, y'all are not going to see my face for a second, but I don't care. So these are the right-wing content funnels. All right. We have, this is so nice. I feel like I'm a teacher again. Like, I'm putting up graphics. How fun. So we have dominance, status, eugenics, and then race/gender. And then feel free to screenshot. Actually, let me make it like the whole screen so y'all can screenshot. There you go. Imani was one of my earliest follows, and I absolutely adore her content. Sometimes my brain like cannot even, like, I'll have to save the videos and like go back or something, because she is like, she goes deep with it, and she is like very, very educated and very like smart and very like intelligently spoken, to the point where I'm like, oh, my brain like cannot keep up with this. Anyways, yes, so pranks for real. Girl, does my man watch porn? If you had to guess if I would be with a man who watched porn, absolutely no. He does not watch porn. Less Love Island videos, please. If y'all cannot see the value in my Love Island videos, I don't know what to tell you. This is literally how I gained a lot of my knowledge. And if y'all cannot see that some of that stuff is real life, like, it is real life. And I'm not going to do less of it. I love y'all, but no. And also, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. It airs like every fucking day, so there's always something to talk about. Okay, so these are the right-wing content funnels. And so when y'all say, is everything is the alt-right pipeline now? Yes, that's actually and literally what I'm trying to tell you. So you have pranks, physicality, sports, and finance. That whole I'm looking for a man in finance, thing. Yup. Dominance, right? And so it leads you, and that's the whole like femininity also like pipeline, because you want a dominant man, you want a masculine man, etc., which like feeds into that more. Then there is the status, right? We kind of talked about this: consumption, fashion, entrepreneurship, and wealth, the whole boss babe thing, the whole go get yours thing. And it's like, I don't want women to be Jeff Bezos. Like, I don't want women to strive to be Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. I don't care for that, actually. I don't think that we should have like insane like levels of wealth. Okay, the creator I have up, you can kind of see their username. Hold on, like right here, Crutches and Spice. Jan says your husband watches it, you're just unaware because he does it in secret. I would know if my husband was watching it. And it's actually really, really easy to tell when a man watches porn. I'm sorry. Like, if y'all can't tell, I can teach you. I can teach you. Actually, I used to have a video pinned, and then for some reason it got like unpinned. But I had like one of my earliest videos that went viral was like about how to spot the signs of porn addiction. Oh, okay. Everyone's saying teach us. All right. Let me. Damn. Okay, let me see. I think I have my little document here. Anyways, hopefully everybody had a chance to screenshot that. And like, yes, it is the alt-right pipeline. I promise you, everything is. It is what it is. All right, let me put this back up. All right, here we go. Let me find my notes. Damn. Why am I not finding it? Frick. Okay. Here are the signs. Dead eyes. They're always going to have dead eyes. And especially when you're talking and they're just like, and like their eyes only move when like they see other women, and then they do this. And I think of it kind of like a crocodile versus like a deer, you know? A deer has like eyes, you know what I mean? Like they're like, you know, looking around, they're like engaged, you know? We're talking about signs of porn addiction. Pornography addiction. Let me not start like a accidental like nutrition live, but pornography, the reason, the way that you're going to know that a man is addicted to pornography is when he has dead crocodile, like alligator eyes, versus eyes that express, versus eyes that you can see a smile in, life in, all of that. Okay. Secondly, they're going to be more violent with you than necessary, like during innocuous things like kissing, hugging, whatever. A lot of women describe that men will go to choke them at their first kiss, at their first like make-out session, whatever. So that's another sign. Another sign is they have nothing to talk about. They have nothing to talk about. Like, because their brain is just big booty Latinas, as my co-host Gwen would say. Actually, can I find her blog? Oh my gosh, like I swear to God, I have notes on this and I don't want to miss anything. The other sign is that they will try to escalate things really quickly. Like, so anybody that's trying to have like smex on the first date, whatever, corn addict. Let me just, was it a Gwen's blog? Yes, signs of corn addiction in men. Let's go over it. He checks out other women in front of you to your face. This is on our Patreon, and it is public, I think. And it's under the Gwen's blogs collection. He checks out other women in front of you to your face. He's counting on you to either be cool with it or not make an extreme fuss about his disrespect. He checks out other women because women are just body parts to him, not people. That's rule number 1 in corn addiction. He does not see women as people, and this will become apparent as we go down the list. Number 2, his FYP will look obvious. The dancing girls half naked, the naked cosplay girls, the drawings even, just all of that. Definitely check his phone. That's how Giselle Pellico found out that she was being drugged and raped. So check his phone. He is either a religious fanatic that is super concerned with the way women dress in public, or an extreme leftist that is all for like smexual liberation of women because it's like empowering and like smex work and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with smex work, like as a woman, but men who are like, no, like women, no. Not much in between. Both of them do not respect women or see us as humans. Ask his opinion on corn early in the dating phase. Here's how you do it. Yeah, so what's your favorite kind of corn to watch? Got him. Got him. All right. Kind of like Serena did on Love Island last year. She said, what's your favorite podcast? And Cordell was like, oh man, I don't know. What should I listen to? And she was like, yeah, that was a test. Good job. Playboy tattoo or logo. That was one of her signs. Frequents booty bars and restaurants. Gwen is so funny. Y'all need to go read this blog because the way I don't have time to read it to you verbatim, but she is amazing. This is also one of our podcast episodes. If you don't want to read the blog, we have a part 1 and part 2 on how to spot the signs of corn addiction. So if y'all want, it's called Signs of Corn Addiction in Men, part 1. But like I said, also look up our podcast, and it's an episode that we did kind of early on. Let's see, when was this blog posted? Look on February. All right. So everybody's asking where to find this. I'm going to show you right now. You're going to find us on Patreon, The Audacity, all right? You're going to go down to, you're going to go up here, right here to collections, all right? And then you have Gwen's blogs. And then this is the one I'm reading to y'all right now. Okay? Oh, that's the part 2. No, wait, that's the part 1. Okay. And then there's a part 2. He goes to strip club, even for a friend's birthday, even for a bachelor party. That man is not right. My husband's never been to a strip club, never has asked me to go to a strip club, never has been invited to a strip club. Doesn't do that. He makes juvenile jokes past the age of like 21, moaning in casual settings. That's what she said jokes, phallic humor, low vibrational, that kind of stuff. He knows too many porn stars' names or OnlyFans content creators. He wants to pay for you to get a boob job, BBL, or any bodily alteration that would please him. His demands in the bedroom become more extreme over time. He pays for it, corn or schmex. He uses it for stress relief. Addicted. He becomes less interested in smex. He won't do shit for you or even himself unless he thinks he might get smex out of it. If you've ever approached him about his addiction, he has downplayed it, called it kink shaming. He's withdrawn from you, easily triggered or quick to start arguments, little to no emotional regulation. He's the first to be angry or overreact to trivial matters. Something feels off. And he talks about women who have hit the wall, or in terms of breeding, he thinks women expire after the age of like 25 or 30. And then let me read y'all part 2 real quick because a lot of people asked. Kink shaming is a joke. Gwen has a lot to say about kink shaming. She's like, I will kink shame you, first of all. Second of all, I'm just kink asking. I'm not kink shaming. Like, she's so fucking funny. I listen to the podcast, like, just to hear the Gwen-isms, sitting and spinning on it. That's like, it lives rent-free in my mind. Sitting and spinning on it. Oh my God. Okay, signs of corn addiction, part 2. He owns an obscene amount of Smeg's toys. I can't read any of them to you, but Gwen says his bedroom straight up looks like a construction site or a medieval dungeon. You'll know it when you see it. Oh my God, I'm dying. He's into BDSM or role-playing with an extreme power dynamic like teacher-student or daddy, little girl, all that. Hypercritical of you or the way you perform in bed. He wants to open up the marriage or become swingers. He thinks you getting a cat call from a stranger is a compliment or it boosts his ego. His taste in art is just naked women sculptures or hentai figurines. It'll either be a hidden shrine in a corner or absolutely surrounding his PC, in between. He plays video games that can be modified to include corn somehow or make the main character have huge boobs or a fat ass on toothpick legs. He has other addictions too, usually nicotine, drugs, or alcohol. He would not care if you decided to do a porno or corno OF or sell a Smex tape if he was in on it. He treats less attractive women with less respect and like they have less worth as human beings. Treats attractive women like they're all dumb or that they all secretly have an OF. This will present itself when the attractive woman is less agreeable or turns down his affections. He won't take rejection well. He can't conceptualize you having normal relationships with your male family members without accusing you of cheating because he watches too much incest porn. He doesn't let you have male friends because he thinks that all men think the same way as him, which is that women are objects for Smex. If he says the word breeding or breedable unironically or just at all. Has like weirdly a type. Gwen is East Asian, and so she had a lot to say about that. He talks about Smex as a despicable act done to a woman or in pornographic terms, like saying back shots or beat that up. Anything you would hear in hardcore corn terminology or maybe even those smut novels. He's on dating apps with his equally corn brain rotted wife or girlfriend. That one's probably not relevant to this conversation, but yeah. He knows the legal age of consent in states other than your own. He knows the difference between, I can't say any of these things. You guys are going to have to go find the list. Or he's a grown man watching anime with underage characters that are obviously being sexualized. And then her bottom line that she put at the end of these blogs, the bottom line is this. Can he comfortably talk to you about his history with corn or how/when he was exposed to pornography? Don't be alarmed that most men were exposed at the age of 11 or before. My husband before. All men have viewed it at some point. All women, I think, have viewed it at some point. It is inevitable, a symptom of a much greater problem within capitalism. No point in finding fault or anger at what you cannot control, but one thing you can do is listen and observe. If you start talking about or asking about corn, watch how he either answers with maturity and honesty or dismisses it entirely as it's not a big deal / every guy watches corn. So there y'all go. Those are the signs of corn addiction. I don't know how we got on this topic, but a lot of people asked to teach them. So there you go. Oh, because somebody was saying my husband watches corn. Like, yeah, I would know if my husband watched corn. I would absolutely know. The blog is on our Patreon, and it is also a 2-part podcast episode. If you look up my podcast and you go down to February, that's when we posted that 2-parter. And that blog is on our Patreon under Gwen's blogs. I hope that she made it public. Otherwise, I'm sending y'all over there. Anyone know off the top how many men are dealing with this issue? I think it was that like 90-something% of men have like admitted to watching porn in the last like week or 24 hours or something, and like watch it on a regular basis. It is like all men. And the reason I can say this kind of confidently about my husband is because we both grew up before smartphones were a thing. And so if you don't, I think that the chances of you becoming addicted to porn are much less if you don't become addicted to it like in high school. And he didn't. He grew up like not very wealthy. And so they didn't have high-speed internet or like a laptop for him to use for anything other than school for like a long time. And then we, boom, just got married like right out of all that. So I know that, yeah, that's why I would say like I would never date anybody, like never, ever, ever, other than my husband. Like, yeah, thank God for being a 90s baby, for sure. For sure. And plenty of millennial men are addicted to porn, and like it can happen later in life, but I just think it's less likely. And I think that a lot less millennial men are like addicted to porn because it used to be viewed as a complete humiliation to watch that. Like, to me, the way that I always ask people, like, how are you okay with your man watching porn? Like, when you probably would not be okay with like him walking around and like peeking in people's windows, like watching them have sex. Like, how is that not embarrassing? How is that not humiliating for you? And Josh, this is the talking point that a lot of men use. And I'm glad that there is at least some incentive. Josh says, let's see, men that use corn can't get it up. And that's another really good sign. That was one of my signs that I did when I did my video. But yeah, they're trained to a death grip. And so it's like, you're no good to a man who's addicted to corn. Like, you're no good. He thinks your body's disgusting. He thinks that like your shit is loose. Like, literally, that's why they're all like addicted to anal intercourse, because they are, you know, it's a bottomless pit, you know what I mean? Yeah, shame used to work, absolutely. And I think, yeah, it just used to be embarrassing. I don't know. It is locked behind the sign up screen. You might have to sign up, but I think it should be free. But hey, why not sign up and support us? Lily says, oof, I found the list and number 1 was my ex. Yep. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying is like, this used to be embarrassing. Men used to have like a little bit of shame around it. It definitely used to be a thing of like, you're an incel if you consume corn like that. But at this point, it is more of like something that men perceive as giving them power because it humiliates women. So boys as young as like 11, 12 years old are coming to school and telling other boys what kind of corn they're watching and how the women in there are getting slapped and gagged and all of those things. And they're getting off on that. And they've normalized it. Yeah, to the point where it's like if you talk about how gross it is, they're like, it's weird. You're like smex shaming, like everybody does it, like whatever. Yeah. Have I heard any of this in my classroom as a teacher? No, because I taught preschool, kindergarten, and first grade, so thank goodness. But I did hear it around the school. And I had like girls that were in like the 8th grade. They would, sometimes they would TA for me and they would be like, that's what they would say. The boys come in and they talk about the corn that they're watching loud enough for the girls to hear and become uncomfortable. Yeah, millennial boys did the same, but it just wasn't as socially acceptable, Scarol. I just don't think so. I feel like people used to make fun of like that, and it used to be just way more embarrassing than it is. Like those boys would usually be the weirdos, like the popular boys would not really do that, at least in my experience. I don't know. Retro Zillennial says, what exactly can I do about patriarchy if I'm isolated and overworked? I think that the answer to the patriarchy lies within ourselves. It is just a matter of, especially if, Retro, I do believe that you are, well, you know what? Let me not say too much. But if you're a man and you're wondering this, the answer is you change your behavior and you just live your life. Like, it is, I do believe on some level, it's going to be like a morphic resonance kind of thing. Like the same thing that's happening with women, like all over the globe, like we're having the same realization all at once. If you don't know what morphic resonance is, let me tell you. So morphic resonance is a thing that was studied by, let's see, a man named Robert Sheldrake. And morphic resonance, an example of it is scientists did this experiment on an island where there was like all these monkeys, and they were opening some kind of fruit. Hold on. It was something about monkeys, and they were doing like all monkeys all over the world were like doing a certain kind of thing. Like they were opening coconuts or something a certain way. And then the scientists showed them the 100th monkey, right? Let's see. Primatologists conducted a behavioral study of a troop of macaca fuscata on the island of Kojima. The researchers would supply these troops with foods such as sweet potatoes and wheat in open areas, often on beaches. An unanticipated byproduct of the study was that the scientists witnessed several innovative evolutionary behaviors by the troop, 2 of which were orchestrated by one young female, period, and the others by her sibling or contemporaries. So the scientists observed that some of the monkeys learned to wash sweet potatoes to remove the sand and grit. Gradually, this new potato washing habit spread through the troop in the usual fashion, monkey see, monkey do, right? This behavior spread up until 1958, and it spread across the water to monkeys on nearby islands. And then, like, next thing you know, monkeys, like, all over the world were doing this. And they were trying to say that, like, oh, monkeys swam over to the other islands, but, like, those kind of monkeys can't swim. So what I'm saying is, you do something enough, you put it into practice enough, and I do think that there's this, like, unexplained, almost, like, thing that takes over. Like, I do believe we are all connected to that point. If that makes sense. All right, sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the comments, as always. Yeah, the movie Fantastic Fungi. I love me some Paul Stamets. That, he really pushed me over the edge on, like, doing a psychedelic trip, like a psilocybin trip, because he was, like, his story with that is really, really crazy. Like, he literally ate a bunch of mushrooms and then, like, climbed a tree in a thunderstorm. Very much like the real life why women live longer than men meme. But anyways, he used to have a terrible stutter. Like, he almost couldn't talk, like, that much of a stutter, and it, like, went away after, like, the next day. Because psilocybin kind of, like, rewires, like, clears out your connections. Okay, Retro, that's what I thought. I know this. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, like, misgender anybody. Okay. Yeah, it's like when you have an idea and find out someone else thought of it already. We are connected. And I especially see this all the time in our, like, feminist, like, little corner of TikTok, is like, we'll just be thinking the same thing at the same time. Or I will, like, come across a video and I'll be like, that's in my drafts right now. Like, what you're saying is in my drafts. Hi, Mary. Alexa says, I wonder if that sort of explains why I'm seeing a lot of more men make feminist content these days. Maybe, yeah. And this is, like, very common with men, the monkey see, monkey do thing. And so that's why I think, like, as a man, just live your life in the way that you believe. Like, I don't think that activism is always, like, the only way that you can do something. Not all of us were meant to, like, make content. Not all of us were made to, for all types of activism. And in America, it is really hard. And again, we have to be practical. Right? This is another thing of, like, the alt-right pipeline is, like, if you can't, like, I think the most insidious thing about the alt-right pipeline is that main character effect, where people want to take the whole world onto their shoulders and they want to be connected to every solution to every problem, right? They're like, I'm the only one saying this. I said this first. I did this first. Da da da. And it's like, that's when we're not going anywhere. That's when we start spinning our wheels in the mud, because you're no longer going anywhere. You are actually just stuck in one place trying to figure out, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I don't trust them to be genuine, so it doesn't matter why it's happening, I guess. And the thing is, you know, they might just, it just eventually might become a lifestyle. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I do think that sometimes it's like people do things for the wrong reasons, but it turns out to be the right thing to do. And then the net outcome is still positive. And that's why, like, I really don't don't want y'all to get too radicalized, because honestly, we could be standing on the precipice, you know? And I don't want y'all to become completely like doom-minded and like black-pilled, because that is not the reality. A lot more men are waking up than people realize. They're just staying quiet. They're processing, you know? And I think the part of extinction burst is that the bad men are going to get louder, right? It's kind of like when you're trying to change something in your life, you know, you're trying to work out every day or whatever, you're trying to quit sugar or something like that, which that is like the worst drug to quit by far, or caffeine or something, right? And it's kind of like right before you get to that point where you can quit, your body is going to scream, like your brain is going to scream, like, give me more. No, we can't quit now. Let's do one last one. You know, this is how a lot of addicts actually end up ODing, is because like it's just this last one, this one last time. So that's how it goes. And that's called an extinction burst. It's where your brain tries to maintain. Oh gosh, for me, sorry y'all. I think I meant for me, but also like sugar is very addictive. That's one thing that a lot of people are really addicted to, and like low key, it is really hard to quit. But I will say for me, I have not had like experience with hard drugs, and so I don't know what it's like to quit that. But what I'm saying is, it's always darkest before the dawn. Like, I know right now it seems like there's a rise of like alt-right rhetoric. There's a rise of that, all that, but it's happening because that's the extinction burst. Like, they will always get louder right before it's like starts going in the right direction. Yep, Girly Pop Tabletop says, every time I ran out of booze, my body would get a second wind. Find more. Exactly. Yeah, Retro. I know. That is like, authoritarian parents will really F you up. And I had one that was and one that wasn't. And I think that's the only thing that saved me in the end, is because I feel like especially those people too are very likely to go down the alt-right pipeline. Oh no, I put the wrong little sticker up here. Let me fix that. All right, let's see. What age would you recommend your and similar content be introduced to young girls and boys? That's a good question. I think that even rather than doing that, because I don't make content for children, to be honest. I really don't. And I don't think that, you know, a 12-year-old girl is going to hear what I have to say and be like, oh yeah, I get it. I think what y'all need to do is teach your children to be critical thinkers. Literally, like, so when they come home repeating something, who said that? Who are they? Why are you listening to them? Is that true? Let's look it up. Let me teach you how to Google that. Let me teach you how to find a reputable website, right? You're probably a millennial, probably maybe a Gen X. Use your training that they forced on us in schools, right? They taught us the Boolean searches, whatever. Use that, okay? Teach your children how to use the internet. Teach your children how to look things up on the internet. Ask your children questions, right? When you're talking to them about pornography, ask them, right? You know, like, do you think it's healthy to watch this every day? Like, even if you were to watch it, what is an appropriate amount of time for you to watch it? Is there any appropriate amount of time for you to be watching what is essentially two strangers having sex? Is there any other context in the world where that is applicable or appropriate? Ask them questions like that. you know? And that is, I would say that's my biggest advice, because my content is meant to validate women's experiences. My content is meant to, it's like I'm talking about stuff that exists already that children will not have been exposed to. So while I'm really flattered, while I'm really honored, while like, honestly, that means the world to me when people are like, hey, like, I want to show my content to your kids. Like, your kids might not get my content, and it might, you know, give them the wrong idea. And not only that, but it may seem extreme to them. And like anything that parents kind of try to force on us, we have the tendency to like rebel or be like, oh, my mom's just crazy or whatever, showing me this crazy stuff. Like, it is what it is, you know? So the thing that I would do, the thing that my parents did that helped me the most, they like never really sat me down to talk about things, but they would ask me a lot of questions. If I was upset that somebody's being mean to me or somebody doesn't like me, whatever. And this is the best antidote, because I'm going to get off this live in a couple minutes. But this is the best antidote to the alt-right pipeline, is critical thinking. Because critical thinking asks, what is practical? What is the actual truth here? What is at the core of this? What are we really doing? What are we really trying to achieve, right? Because if you ask me that question about, for example, about any of Flawed Villain's content, I would have trouble answering you. And I'm glad that this whole thing happened, because it made me realize like what type of feminist content is too extreme. And I know that's going to sound like a dumb question, and it probably seems like we can never be extreme enough, but there is a point. It does get to a point. That's what I would say. It really does get to a point, and it gets to a point where it's unhelpful. And it gets to a point where you start to ask yourself, so, like, what is the goal? Is the goal that more women should have voted for Trump? Is the goal that like all women are like, that we take abortion off the table and all women just have to stay celibate? Like, is that the goal? Is that realistic? Right? Because I promise you, and this is very unfortunate, but it's like, yeah, even if like 100% of women became celibate, we would still need abortion. For reasons that you can very easily figure out. OD follow-up, when to share true experiences with men with daughters. Again, teach them to think critically. I think that's the thing. It's like, rather than, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but rather than sort of trauma dumping on your children, which they will, that's the problem with teenagers. Like my mom used to kind of say stuff like that to me, and I would just think, no, I'm different, and this boy is different, and he really likes me. You know what I mean? Like, Hi, Joanna. Good to see you, babe. Waiting for marriage and won't do it without a vasectomy. I love that. Good for you. Good for you. I think that's a very good idea, honestly. Because so many men will marry you and then drop the bomb on you that they want kids. Terrible. Yay. I'm glad y'all are feeling the lives. I am working on posting them to YouTube. And I will be gone starting Friday. I'm going to see Beyonce. But yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday. I'm going to try to schedule some content in the meantime, like these lives and stuff. And I'm going to film a couple videos to pop up here and there. But yeah, I've been trying to squeeze them in. Hey, Blissful. Yep, if he wants kids after, then divorce me, my guy. Exactly. And that's what I tell my husband too all the time. I'm like, honestly, like, Keisha says, where can I find the list on signs of corn addiction? Keisha, which night are you going? Okay, let me show you where to find the list. The list is on our Patreon, okay? You gotta find us on the Patreon, the Audacity. And then you scroll over to collections. Everything is backwards. And then you scroll to Gwen's blogs and you click on that. And then it's one of those Gwen's blogs. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Do I have a Substack? No, but I do write a blog every week on this Patreon. So the other collection, if you want to read my blogs, is the Tea Vault. No, wait. Reading the Tea Leaves blog and also the Tea Vault, those are both mine. So these two. These are pretty much all blogs that I've written. And then I write these every week for like every episode. I have a lot of fun with it. So definitely check them out. Yeah, this is Patreon. Sinister says, I say vasectomy should be mandatory for any post-pubescent male. They grape and mutilate us, so why not? Well, that wouldn't stop them from graping us, but yeah. Oh, Saturday? Okay, well, you'll have to tell me how it goes, because I am the day after. Do you know of any good podcasts by Black women? I listen to yours and Reagan's F the Nice Guy right now. You know what? I don't actually listen to podcasts very much. I love having a podcast. In the past, I've like only ever listened to like Behind the Bastards as far as like podcasts. And then I love, this one is my fun one. It's like my Cleanse the Palate podcast. This one is written by a gay man, or several, I think. It's called Welcome to Night Vale. That shit is like my favorite. I don't know why. I could listen to that all day. And I listen to it to clear my head. And it's very intersectional. I really love that podcast. Like, it's like a scripted, it's non-chronological. Like, it's kind of canonical, but yeah. So anyways, all that to say, if people have good podcasts, please drop them in the comments, because I really only listen to those two. Breaking Down Patriarchy. Thank you, Stephanie. Sunflower Hour. You know what? I'm gonna look these up. I gotta get back on my podcast game. Not me taking notes too. Sunflower Hour. What else we got? Breaking Down Patriarchy. Slumflower. Is that a different one? Oh, Slumflower. Thank you. Gosh, I was saying sunflower. Slumflower Hour. Oh, Cindy Noir. No, wait. She doesn't have a podcast yet, but she's working on it. Oh, one of my mutuals has a podcast. Pris the Goddess. Let me see. Let me tell y'all what it's called. So she's Priscilla Davies, and she has a podcast. No niche zone pod. No niche zone. The knitting cult lady, she's never come across my FYP. And I don't know if I should be questioning her or my FYP. Because you know who did come across my FYP? Flawed Villain. A lot. So. Chantel Hyde, Canada's best dating coach. You know what? She follows me, I think. I will. No niche zone. Okay. The Mad Max videos, yes. Two dope queens. I like that title. Does Knitting Cult Lady have a podcast? Should we drop it? Sinister says, any rapist, I say they have to be castrated. Sorry, not sorry. Enough is enough already. I completely agree. I think they should be taken out back. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, I love all the info on Patreon. We definitely don't want to gatekeep. The only thing we gatekeep is our VIP TV, which is really just us yapping more. Like, it's nothing like informational, you know? Noel says, does your man watch Korn at all? I'd prefer my future man to not like it at all, even outside of me. No, he does not watch Korn. And I would not be with a man who watches Korn. If he ever showed any signs of watching Korn, I would divorce him. Because that is to me one of the worst things a man can do. That is the ultimate misogyny pipeline. Any man who watches Korn, like on a regular basis, is a misogynist and is depraved. I said it and I'll say it again. Korn is cheating, absolutely. Yep, please hold out. Do you like the book, The Rules? I have not read it. Thank you, Steph. Appreciate you. Oh, Fleeksy. Good news, y'all. Fleeksy is going to be our guest next month. Well, we might have to reschedule because she just got a new job. But Fleeksy is great. We're going to have her on the show. Can we give book recs too? Please do. What's up, Temporary Scroller? Hey, Ken. We're coming to the end of this live, unfortunately, y'all. But I will put this up on YouTube. Just give me like a few days. I'm going to have to go through and like schedule it and all that. Please don't download dating apps. Dating apps are terrible. Don't do it. Reading The Well-Trained Wife right now, y'all, that book is wild. That book is wild. So definitely, I read that one too. That was crazy. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning for that book. That book was a fucking trip. Okay, Knitting Cult Lady has On the Edge and Indoctrination. Are those podcasts? Married women whose partners cheat on them envy single women. Well, they should get divorced and be single. Farah, I'm sorry I don't have a live schedule. I just hop on here whenever. Okay, Fleeksy has officially rescheduled. I just got a note from producer Rai Rai. So that episode will be out, let me tell you, July 23rd. July 23rd. I know, Blissful, I'm sorry. My makeup's done, so I didn't just get on. Laura Bates, yeah. Bell Hooks. Temporary Scroller, let me see. I don't see a comment from you. Sometimes they get filtered. Do you see your comment? The last comment I see from you is, hey, YV, nice to see you again. There is no other comment. So try putting maybe some numbers or something in it. Octavia Butler, yes. White Woman Whisper has a podcast. Let's go. Thank you, Sinister. Appreciate it. What was the book rec about the well-trained wife called again? It's called The Well-Trained Wife by Tia Levings. I asked if your messages are open. I'm hoping you could clarify something you said yesterday. My messages are open, but y'all, I don't read them. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot. It's too much. It's too much. Like, this is already so, like, mentally taxing and exhausting. I try to check my DMs every once in a while, but, like, it's half, like, scary, half overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, why women are blamed for everything. Nice. Ioana says, how do you find so many people to talk to on your podcast? Oh, it's because we're part of this wonderful, vibrant, feminist community. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's amazing. Like, we're all connected. And, like, this is how, like, me personally, this is how I center women. I, like, make myself part of that community. Like, we have Mel Hamlet on the books. We have Amber Aquila on the books. We have, we're going to reach out to, there's just so many people more to reach out to. I mean, we haven't even had Therese on yet. Like, she's been dealing with medical stuff, so. Scary, why? Because there's men in my DMs. And also, a lot of those books are in my Goodreads list, which is on my, it's in my link tree. Yeah, I've gotten some scary threats, even that, so see, Scarol, that's what I'm like, I don't know, is it... Because I don't know how to read into that. Like, try to contact you about your personal details. Like, I don't really want to share my personal details with anybody. I share what I want to share with any of you, with all of you. Like, I love y'all, but I don't know y'all like that. You talk like if Austin was a woman. Damn, that's a sick burn. That's a sick burn. Oh, you have some info to share with me. Okay, Scarol, I will do my best. I gotta put me first, guys. I gotta put my mental health first. Otherwise, I won't be able to do any of this. Yep, blissful, absolutely. I think there's a lot you can do, like, even if you're not, like, creating content, just little things you do in your community make a huge difference, you know? Anyways, y'all, I gotta hop off of here and make some more content, and then I am off to do all my prep for the trip. Wish me luck. I'm gonna have to delete my apps when I go. Going to fucking Texas. I'm so scared, y'all. I don't, like, I got the tickets before shit got really crazy, and now I'm scared. Thankfully, I'm going with my, like, male escort. And hopefully, that'll protect me. I'm glad that we need to worry about that again. Anyways, I love y'all. I will probably not be on live until next week again, but I will post these. Oh, thank you, Olzo. Will do. Thank you. Yes, please manifest that for me. I will wear a hat. I will like... And I blocked all the problematic men from this page a long time ago, so hopefully, you know, they just kind of have stayed blocked, and I don't know. But I haven't had like too many threats lately, but you never know. All right. Love y'all. Thank you so much for being here.